All right, we are here with Peter and Craig with the Ability Mortgage Group, and we're going to cover quite a bit of different things here. Peter, why don't you start us off with the differences between the mortgage brokers and banks and kind of dive into that a little bit here?
Sure. So basically the difference between a mortgage broker and a mortgage bank is the fact that we have several different banks we work with. So when we're taking a loan application, we're actually eliminating the banks that we're going to deal with because banks have certain overlays. And Craig, tell us a little bit about what bank overlays are.
Well, each bank has different buckets of money that they're trying to fill, different risk tolerances, different pricing structures. And our job as a mortgage broker is to find the best product and price for our client, whether that be closing quickly, whether that be a higher than normal debt to income ratio, whether that be basically anything. Our job as a mortgage broker is to find the best available product for our borrower versus the bank. They're just trying to fill their own criteria. So we're able to shop better for the mortgage client.
Okay. And also I want to throw in too is that a bank is limited to only the product they have. So if you're dealing with a bank and they take the loan application and the bank has overlays that they can't do the loan, so they're capped there. So they can't take it to a different bank, and that's what really makes it different. And also pricing is another big thing too. We just recently started collecting pre-approvals from other companies, and that when we're getting quotes and basically using those figures and plugging them in, and we've noticed that we've been on average, it's coming down a little bit because our loan amounts are coming down a little bit, but we've averaged last year $4,700 less cash to close than an actual retail bank, or the difference could be a lower interest rate. Is that right, Craig?
Yeah, the difference is we're a wholesale mortgage broker, so we present rates on a wholesale basis, and also you're the loan officer there, so we're not paying the additional loan officer commission. That's why we're able to offer a better pricing structure than most of the banks that are out there.
One of the things that I think is one of the coolest things we've done in the past year is the fact that on an FHA loan, it's a competing market. It's real right now, and we were able to pay full seller help with wholesale credit. It was just, I think, a little bit over $14,000. We knew that the realtor knew that there was competing offers, and they weren't going to be able to get the $14,000 in seller help. So what we did is we just adjusted the pricing, and it was only a little bit on the loan. So I think we might have taken it up maybe 0.375 higher, and we were able to obtain that $14,000 full seller help to actually, and they actually were able to get that contract ratified. It's closed, and that's a pretty exciting thing. And one of the things that you don't see that a lot is because I, as the broker owner, am on the hook for that $14,000 in the event that they pay it off. And each bank is different. It could be as much as a year. So that's a big risk to put out there, and that's why you're seeing a smaller cap, like they call that wholesale or lender credit, if you will. Well, on the wholesale market, it's a little bit different, and they allow us to go up much higher and get a lot. I think maybe as high as 4 percentage points of the loan amount. So if you're in a competing situation and you've got a buyer that's needs $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000 in seller help, and you don't have it, I could just maybe push the rate a little bit and be able to obtain that extra seller help. And that was a big win, and that was a game changer for those people because they got the home that they want. Craig, a couple other opportunities that we've done, some wins that we've done with our agents. You got any of them?
Well, just along the lines that you were talking about there, we had a listing agent that had a sales contract that fell through, and that buyer urgently wanted to sell. They had a client that was interested in buying the home, but they didn't have enough room for the seller to pay the borrower's closing costs. So we took that loan. Also had a higher than normal debt to income ratio than a lot of the banks would do. And we were able to get that loan to closing within a few weeks and make the listing agent happy, the buyer's agent happy, the borrower's happy, the seller happy. So it was overall a great transaction.
That's pretty cool. Another opportunity we had recently, this was in Chestertown, Maryland, where an agent, I was calling out to an agent, and the agent actually said, "Hey, can you send me a quote?" They're negotiating a contract back and forth, and she said, "Hey, can you put a quote together for me real quick?" And I sent up a quote, then never even met the buyers or never talked to them, just based on the particulars that she gave me on it. I sent the quote up. The next morning, I got an email from the buyer saying, listen, because of your quote, it's changing our position and we're going to be moving forward on this offer now. It was $6,000 better. And what was happening was the listing, the sellers and the buyers were, it wasn't six, it was 5,700. They were apart by that much money or very close to it. So the buyers felt like they got a win because, oh, look at the new quote came and it's less cash to close. The sellers weren't willing to give up anything else on their end. So that next morning, I got an email that said, based on the information that you've provided us, we're going to be moving forward, and they're probably the best credit profile borrower of this year. And it was actually a pleasure working with them. But it's just those little things that we're doing is really, how do you say, it's increasing the realtors' income per hour so they can have a life. We just recently, we're always taking pre-approvals from like 190, for an example. We just did one, and we took it up to 235. So that difference is a whole different set of homes that realtors out showing them. If you're out showing agents or buyers homes up to 200,000, and there's a whole different set of homes available between 2 and 250. So we were able to bump that realtor up and bump that buyer up and put them into a home, and that is just another example how we are, we're basically, it boils down to increasing their realtors' income per hour. And there's so many different opportunities here that we deal with. Craig, can you think of another one just off the top of your head that you've done recently?
Well, the biggest complaints that I hear from realtors is the lack of communication and not closing on time. And that's where we really excel versus the other banks and lenders that are out there. We have a state-of-the-art communication system that we keep our clients and realtors in the loop every step of the way at all the milestones: loan application, loan approval, appraisal ordered, appraisal return, loan clear to close, docs out. We keep everybody in the loop throughout the process. And that's what I've seen as one of the biggest complaints from realtors out there, that they seem to be in the dark, and that gives them more of a comfort level to feel that they do not have to babysit their transactions and know they're going to get paid on the backside of it. So it frees up their time to do other things if they know that the loan is in good hands and is going to close on time with no issues. Also, like I say, not closing on time. That is the biggest complaint that I get. And we have never missed a closing. We close on time, and that's our motto. We close on time. Right here.
Let me cut you off there real quick. How many pre-approvals have you issued in the last 4 years that have not closed?
None. We have bulletproof pre-approvals. So you're not giving a fake pre-approval out there. The listing agent, the buyer's agents are not wasting time getting under contract, paying for appraisals, paying for home inspections. We have 100% on-time closing. We also have 100% bulletproof pre-approvals. We have not yet taken an application that we issued a pre-approval on and not been able to close that loan. I don't know of any other institution that can say that.
I'll tell you one other thing too that separates Ability Mortgage Group is actually Craig. I mean, he is best in business, and I'm not kidding. And I'm going to give you a little example of that. But I've owned the company for 18 years. People are moving from job to job to job. I have a lot of respect for another loan officer out west, and I just looked at his information on Facebook. He just changed the company again. I mean, you're not going to find many people that have been at the same place through the 2007, 8, 9 that have been in the same job with the amount. I mean, we have over 200 5-star reviews. We've never had a complaint. Getting back to Craig, he has got to be best in business. I've never ever worked with anybody that's got the product knowledge. And we had a meeting the other day, and we were talking about really what separates Ability Mortgage Group is we care. I mean, we care about the buyer, we care about the agent, and we're not going home at night without whatever it is being solved. But getting back to Craig being best in business, we were talking the other day, and this I'm gonna catch you off guard, Craig, a little bit, but about the identity of interest. Tell me a little bit about what you know about identity of interest on a loan.
That is an FHA requirement that if the borrower is renting the house, they have to at least be renting the house for at least 6 months, or the loan to value is going to be decreased to an 85%. Getting very technical there. But the reason why is that they believe it's a seller inducement. So anyway,
Craig, we don't need to hear anymore. That's exactly what I just wanted to. I always make a joke about that movie, My Cousin Vinny, when Marissa, whatever her name was, gets up on a stand and starts talking about fixing automobiles. If it's a loan and it's a guideline, you want Craig Reynolds on that guideline, because he is just like, he knows this stuff. He knows every Monday when those new guidelines come out, he's telling me about them. And to be honest with you, I'm not listening. I'm on the front end, but he has that product knowledge. And we just had a realtor, 40 years in the industry, a respected realtor, that it's on gave us a review out of the blue. He said out of her 40 years of being a real estate agent, she has never worked with anybody that has the quality of Craig. And it was a very, very, very difficult loan. That was that VA loan, Craig. I don't even remember the agent's name off the top of my head, but the point is that we have the back end best in business, which is you're hearing a lot of times where you don't close on time or something came up. That happens, but if the file is scrubbed right and done right and put with the right bank, and one more thing, and I don't want to be too long on these, is that when we're taking a loan application, when I'm doing a loan application, I'm getting to know the buyer, I'm getting to know the borrower a little bit, but also what I'm doing is eliminating banks. So, if it's like a hobby farm, for instance, if it's a house with a little barn on it that they may have a horse and it's 3 acres, that's not going to. I've just eliminated 7 banks. So if you're dealing with one bank and you don't allow that situation, then you're going to find that out 3 weeks into underwriting when the appraisal comes back, and that's really what separates a wholesale broker, okay, versus a retail bank, and the fact that we have the best of both worlds. We don't have a loan officer in front of me, so that $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 commission check is not going out to the loan officer. And then you've got the back end covered and all the different banks that we work with, and it's truly a win-win for realtors, making them more money per hour. On my spare time, I study marketing. I love marketing. I'm always watching even Frank's videos on Viral. I study real estate marketing and I love it. And I'd like to give a tip at the end of each of these videos. And I can tell you one of the things that have changed a lot of realtors' business is a personal note card. You should be writing 3 to 5 personal note cards to people you've come into, whether it's a customer, a coffee meeting, or whatever. They have to be real, a card out to them. That has increased my business and many other agents' business substantially. So if you can get 3 to 5 business cards, or not business cards, but personal notes written out, we do it every day. By 2 o'clock, I want to remember who I had conversations with, and get a personal note out to your base. That's one of the first steps that'll actually help change your business.
Perfect. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate the time here, and we'll be back with some more videos. But for now, that's it.
Yeah, that was cool. Thank you.